Welcome students to this video edition of the online classes. We have prepared a video for practicals for students of standard 11 and 12 on titration so that we are able to let you know what is to be done in the practicals. You all know that you all are going to be evaluated on a total of 100 marks for each subject. In chemistry, you have to answer 70 marks theory paper and 30 marks practical paper. The details of the 30 marks are as follows. If you look into the syllabus, we begin with standard 11 first, you will see that in the reduced syllabus, the practical work is out of 15 marks, in which you have to do titration, which will be the question number 1, and then you have to do salt analysis, where a salt will be given, which is going to be an unknown salt for you all, and it has to be analyzed on a systematic analysis for the salt. For standard 12, the practical work is again of 15 marks, but as you can see in this case, the titration is the first question on which you have to answer. The second is the study of rate of reaction. The third is identification of the organic compounds and their functional group. And of course, we have the fourth one for the test of carbohydrates and the fifth one for the salt analysis. Now, in this video, we will be primarily focusing on the titrations. So if you see in standard 11, you have to do the titrations involving acid-base, where the theory is that when a base is titrated against an acid, an end point is reached, and the end point marks the point, or you can say the base has just been neutralized by an acid, or it can be the other way, the acid has just been neutralized by a base. And for this, to understand the end point, indicators are used. So as we do the experiment, it will become clear to you. Now, in this experiment, though the calculations are theoretical, but for the calculations, you need to take the readings. These readings are then tabulated in the observation table, a sample of which has been given in your syllabus. If you go towards the end of the syllabus where the practical part is written, you will find there that an observation table is given. This is what I'm talking about. All right. You should know that in this table, when you fill your readings, this is applicable to both standard 11 and 12 children, that the observation table has to be filled in with ink. Pencil writing is not allowed in the table, and there should not be any overwriting. And in the readings that you take, concordant readings have to be reported. So as we do the practicals, you will understand what is concordant reading, but anyway, concordant readings would mean two exactly the same readings. So what I'm talking about will become clear when we move to the doing the practicals. Now for titration, since this is an acid-base titration, you will be provided with two solutions, and you have to do the titration as per the instructions given in the question. Now let us go to the apparatus that we use for the titration. Now if you look at this diagram, you will see that in this case, we have this burette which records the volume of the acid added. Now what is this burette? This burette is a long cylindrical tube which is marked from zero here to 50 degrees. This is the one we have in the lab, to 50 ml, 50 cc. And this is the one we have in the labs. And the burette is filled with the acid or the base as per the instructions that will be filled in the burette. And it has a stopwatch here, with the help of which you can regulate the flow of the solution into the conical flask. This conical flask that is here is has to be, rinsed properly before you use. And in this, the solution, another solution is taken. If you have filled the burette with the acid, in this, the base will have to be taken. And to measure the amount of base that you need to put in the conical flask, we have to use another apparatus that is called as the pipette. Now, what is this pipette? Pipettes are used for getting almost accurate measurement of the solutions that we need to use for the experiment. If you use a measuring cylinder, the accuracy may not be as good as the accuracy is there while using a pipette. These pipettes are glass apparatus, and there is a bulb in the middle, and they are of different capacities. If you are using a pipette of 10 ml, you can exactly measure 10 ml. You cannot measure anywhere in between. It will be measured as 10 ml. If you are using a pipette of 25 ml, it will exactly measure 25 ml. You cannot measure in between. So it is always for a exact amount of solution that you want. In the lab, we have pipettes available for 10 ml and we have them available for 25 ml. As per the instructions, you will be taking those pipettes to use it. In the upcoming videos, we will show you how these apparatuses are going to be used. Now, this titration, that is, this entire experiment is called as the titration, and we have to add an indicator to know when the end point is reached. The name of the indicator and the amount to be added, everything is specified in the instructions that are given for the practicals. Now let's move on first with the acid-base titration. In the acid-base titration, usually what happens is that in the acid-base titration, there are two solutions which are provided. In the two solutions, you will have one as an acid and the other one is going to be a base. For one, the strength will be known, and for the other, the strength has to be calculated. If I move to the next slide, you will see in that in the next slide, you see it is written experiment number 2, but you can take it as experiment number 1. And you will see that you have been provided with two solutions. Solution 1 is a C5, is prepared by dissolving 530 grams per liter of sodium carbonate. Now, in this case, you will see this is what is given here. C6 is an unknown concentration of HCl. So, in this experiment, we will be finding out the concentration of HCl by carrying out the process of titration. Now, as I told you, instructions will always be given. So, you see the procedure is given. Rinse and fill the burette with the given dilute HCl solution C6. So, you have to fill the burette with HCl solution. You will wash and rinse the pipette with the given sodium carbonate solution. So the sodium carbonate solution will go in the conical flask. You must know that sodium carbonate is a salt of a strong base and a weak acid. So a solution prepared from sodium carbonate will be basic in nature. Now you will pipette out 25 ml solution of sodium carbonate into a clean titration or a conical flask. To this, you will add 2 drops of methyl orange. So this methyl orange is going to work as an indicator. Now, run the acid solution C6 from the burette dropwise into the flask with constant shaking till the last drop gives the permanent light pink color, and you have to repeat the titration process to get at least 2 concordant readings. Now, the important lines I have already underlined, or the important words that you need to know, I have already underlined. Now, in this, what will happen when you carry out the titration, you see it is saying you have to get at least 2 concordant readings. 2 concordant readings will mean exactly the same readings. Now, how do we obtain these readings? How do we get these readings? If you actually see in the conical flask, you will find that the solution has been added. Okay. In the conical flask, we have added sodium carbonate solution, that is Na2CO3 solution, which has been pipetted out, all right, 25 ml. Okay. Now, the burette that we are going to use is going to help us to add the solution of the acid dropwise. This is going to be marked from 0 to 50 ml. All right. This, I am just showing it to you here by drawing, but actually in the upcoming videos, we will be performing the experiments so that you understand exactly how it is to be done. Now, this is just to let you know how the readings are calculated. So then you allow the solution from the burette dropwise to fall into the conical flask. As the solution keeps falling into the conical flask, in which 2 ml of methyl orange, or you can say 2 drops of methyl orange have been added, then what happens is that when you are adding methyl orange to an basic solution, it's going to remain orange. And the minute it becomes acidic, it is going to turn into a light pink color. Now, as you start adding from the burette, you have to regulate the flow very carefully. Allow the solution to fall drop by drop, drop by drop. Students from standard 12 have already performed this experiment and they know how to handle the burette. This is especially for standard 11 children to understand what is to be done. Now, once this is done, when the solution just turns pink, as in the instructions also it is given that you have to constantly shake the flask till the last drop gives the permanent pink color. You have to allow the solution from the burette to fall drop by drop till there. Once you get the light pink color, you stop. Now, what will happen in the burette is that you have set the burette at the 0 mark. How to begin the titration, that you have to understand that you have to fill the burette till the 0 mark. And from the 0 mark, the solution as is being added, the level will keep falling. And a time, let us say it comes here, where the value is something around, let us say 20 or 20.5 ml. Now, this is the titer reading we are talking about. That means 20.5 ml of the acid solution has just neutralized the 25 ml of the sodium carbonate solution. This is the reading that we are talking of. This is the reading which will have to be tabulated. Now, let us go back to the questions that we have to answer. This is regarding this tabulation of the reading. We will be conducting the the practical video practicals for you to understand how it will be done. Now, if I am talking about the questions that will be asked, then you must know that there are different kinds of questions that have been mentioned that can be asked. Now, in this experiment number 2, you see the chemical equation is given. Sodium carbonate is reacting with 2HCl to form NaCl plus H2O plus CO2. Now, atomic masses will be given. These atomic masses only you have to use. Even if you feel that the atomic mass is given different, you will still have to use the atomic masses that are mentioned in the question. And based on the experiment, you have to calculate the molarity of the sodium carbonate solution. You have to calculate the molarity of the hydrochloric acid. You have to find out the strength of the solution, C6. Then you have to find that is C6 is the HCl solution. You have to find out the concentration of chloride ions in the C6 solution, and you have to find out the number of chloride ions in the C6 solution. Now, if you look at the questions, first you need to find out the molarity of the two solutions. Now, the readings that we were talking about have been tabulated in this form here in the observation table. So the initial reading is taken, the final reading is taken. So if you started from 0, that is your initial reading, the final reading where the base was just neutralized by the acid, that is the final reading you got, then the volume of HCl used is 25.3. Now, in this tabulation, you will see that we have got two exactly the same readings, that is 25.3. These readings are called as concordant readings, and that will be used as my titer value. Once you have finished reading the questions and you begin the experiment, your first thing to do is to tabulate the readings. This is exactly what you need to do in the practicals as such. Once this is done, then you have to begin with the calculations. So we will take up the questions one by one. The first is the molarity of sodium carbonate solution C5. Now, if you look at the molarity of sodium carbonate solution, you will see that the sodium carbonate solution that was given to us, all right, was made by adding 5.30 grams of sodium carbonate per liter of the solution. So how will you find out the molarity? To find out the molarity for this question, we will be taking up the questions one after the other, and I'm going to use the whiteboard. So for this, you will see, for finding the answer to the first question, that is molarity of sodium carbonate solution, that is C5, we will have to use the formula where all of you know that formula, that is molarity is equal to given weight in grams or the strength, or you can say the given weight in grams, all right, divided by the molecular mass of Na2CO3 in grams. All right. Now, for this, the answer will come equal to 5.30, all right, divided by 106. This is the calculation that we are doing, and the answer is 0.0500 moles. So this is your answer to question number 1. Molarity of C5, you have to write the formula, then you have to write the substitution, show the substitution, and then write your answer. So this is how you calculate the molarity of C5. It is possible because the given weight of the C5 solution, that is sodium carbonate solution, is mentioned in the question. Now come to question number 2. The question number 2 is to find out the molarity of hydrochloric acid. That is molarity of, we have to find out the molarity of C6 solution, that is HCl. All right. Now to find out the molarity of C6 solution, that is hydrochloric acid, we cannot use this formula that we have used in the first question. The reason being because in the case of the first one, the weight in grams was given, but we do not know the weight in grams of HCl. So we will be using the molarity equation. Now, what is the molarity equation? Molarity equation is written as M1 V1 by N1, okay, is equal to M2 V2 by N2. Okay. Now, this point is, or this equation is applicable at the end point. At the end point, when the gram equivalence of the acid equal the gram equivalence of the base, the end point is reached. The end point here means that the neutralization has just occurred. So if I am considering M1, V1 and N1
for sodium carbonate and M2, V2 and N2 for HCl, then in the next step, we will do the substitution. So if this is for C5, or let me make this at C6, if this is for C6, then we can have, I will write it boldly here. This is for solution C6, that is for HCl, all right. And this is for C5, that is for sodium carbonate solution. Then it becomes easy for us to substitute. Now, in the molarity equation, M1 stands for the molarity of C6, which we have calculated in question number 1. So, molarity we know already, that is 0.0500 we will take. Now, V1 stands for the volume of the solution C. I'm sorry, I think I made a mistake. We'll have to go back again. We'll have to go back again because C6 is for the HCl, and for that we don't know the molarity. So we will keep it as M1. I'm sorry for that. So this one will remain as M1. All right. Okay. But for C5 we know the molarity, and for C5 the molarity is 0.0500. However, if we first do the substitution for HCl, the amount of HCl that was added in the beaker, in the conical flask from the burette, that has to be mentioned here. So that is actually my titer reading. So in the case of HCl, the reading that we got was 25.3, let us say. So I will write 25.3. This is the titer reading. And this is to be divided by N1. N1 and N2 stand for the number of moles of the reactants that have been used in the reaction. That is the equation I had shown already. So you had 1 moles of sodium carbonate reacting with 2 moles of HCl. So accordingly we have to take that. But before I put that, let us come here this side. In this case, we are going to get M2 is 0.0500. That is the molarity we got from question number 1. And volume is the amount of solution we took in the conical flask, that is 25 ml. This one will remain same in all the cases. And this again will have to be divided by the number of moles. Now let me explain to you what this number of moles is. If you go to the equation, you will see that Na2CO3 is 1 and 2 moles of HCl is reacting with it. So the number of moles of Na2CO3 is 1 and the number of moles for HCl that are reacting is 2. So now we are ready to find out the molarity of C6. So what will M1 equal to then? So to calculate M1, we will apply the mathematics that we know, that is 0.0500 into 25, all right. Then this is to be divided by 1, and of course the 2 will come here and 25.3 will come here. Now when I solve this, if after we solve this entire thing, the answer will come equal to 0.098815. This is the molarity of HCl solution. So we have calculated the molarity of HCl solution. Molarity of C5, that is sodium carbonate solution, was 0.05 and the molarity of the HCl solution is 0.0981 molar. Now, after this, we have to go to the next question. So if we have to go to the next question, you will see in the next question, we have to find out
I'll have to clear this before I can go to that next question. So let me clear this out. And in the third question, it is asking for the strength of C6 solution in grams per liter. So the third question is asking for the strength of C6 solution in grams per liter. In grams per liter. Now, how will we find out this? To understand this, you have to go back to the formula we used in the first question. All right. And we know that the strength, or we can find out by using the formula, strength will equal to, strength of HCl here we mean, will equal to molarity, okay, into molecular mass. Molarity into molecular mass. From this, we will calculate molarity. We just calculated and we got the answer as 0.09881. Okay. And molecular mass of HCl, we can calculate by adding the atomic masses, and this comes equal to 36.5 grams per liter, which is equal to, when we multiply this, the answer that we get is 3.606 grams per liter. So this is the answer to the question number 3, where we have to report the strength of the HCl solution in grams per liter. Question number 4 is asking you to find out the concentration of chloride ions in C6 solution. Now, how will you find out the concentration of the chloride ions? This is again easy, because we will be using the same formula, but the only difference is that instead of using the molecular mass, we will just use the mass of the chloride ion. So, concentration of chloride ions will equal to molarity of the solution, that is 0.09881 into the mass of Cl, that is how much? 35.5. This is the mass of chlorine atom, chloride ion, sorry. This is the mass of Cl minus. So this is equal to 3.51 grams per liter. Coming to question number 5, it is asking to find the number of chloride ions. All right. So to find the number of chloride ions, we need the mole concept and we need to use the Avogadro's number also. So since the number of chloride ions we have to find out, what we can do is we can first convert this into the moles. Now we can write that 36.5 grams of HCl. All right, we can simply go by the unitary method, that 36, this is question number 5 that we are going to do. And in question number 5, it is asking for number of chloride ions. So let me write that so that it's easier for you to understand. Number of chloride ions is what it is asking for. Number of chloride ions. Okay. All right. Now, if you look at this, you can easily calculate by writing that 36.5 grams, okay, of HCl contain how many? Avogadro's number of chloride ions, that is 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 chloride ions, because one molecule contains 1. So 36.5 grams is 1 mole. So I can also write it in terms of mole, or we can write 33 because this is the strength we got in grams per liter. So we'll go by 3.606 grams of HCl will contain how much? We will write will contain 6.023 into 10 to the power 23, all right, divided by 36.5 into 3.606. 3.606 chloride ions. Upon calculation, it comes equal to 5.95 into 10 to the power 22 number of chloride ions. So we have solved all the 5 questions just by taking the titration reading. Now, 90% of the time, or I must say 95, 97%, 98% of the time, the first 2 questions in the titration are usually the same. That is, the molarity of the solution is to be calculated, whose data will be given. And in the second question, the molarity equation will have to be used to find the concentration of the other solution whose strength is not known. And the other questions will follow. But in this titration process, there are other kinds of questions also that you need to do. For this, we will go to another experiment where I can show you the questions and then we can do the calculations for that also. So if this you have understood, I will go to the next one. I'm going to clear this out. I'll remove the whiteboard and let's go to the next question. So you see all the 5 questions have been answered. There is a little note written here that the molarity of the solutions should always be written up to 4 decimal places. This is important, children, because so that you don't make any errors. Because if your errors are more than 10%, marks are deducted. So you have to be careful with that. And if you look at the observation table, you see the burette reading is mentioned here, the initial reading, the final reading, and you got the volume of HCl used. 25.3 is what we have used for the calculations. So now let's move to the next experiment where some other questions are given. So if I go to that next slide, you will see in experiment number 3, which is going to be experiment number 2 for you. You see in this case also, it is given more or less the same procedure is given, method is the same, or the procedure method is the same. You have to fill the burette with the HCl solution and you have to take the washing soda crystals solution in the conical flask. But if you look at the question, there is a slight difference. Here they have named, solutions can be named according to the examiner, whatever he wants to give. So this is C17 and C18. In this case, HCl is my standard solution because its strength I know. Those solutions whose strengths are known are called as the standard solution. So this is the standard solution. C18 is a solution which is prepared by dissolving 7.1 grams of hydrated sodium carbonate solution per liter. All right. In this case, you see in the formula there is an X. Now, strength of HCl is given. Amount of washing soda crystal is also mentioned. But you cannot find out the molarity of sodium carbonate by looking at the weight that is given, because molecular mass remains unknown. Because in the molecular mass, there is the presence of X. We don't know how many molecules of water of crystallization are there. So we are supposed to find out the value of X in this case. So how do we find out the value of X in this case? Again, in this experiment, the procedure is same, like see it is given here, same as in experiment number 2, that is fill the burette with the HCl solution and pipette out 25 ml of sodium carbonate solution into a clean conical flask, add some methyl orange, begin the titration till the end point is reached. Now the chemical equation is also the same. In this case, if you see in the question number 1, it is asking for the normality of solution C18. Now, normality and molarity, if you look at this, in this case, in your syllabus, actually, normality is not mentioned. But if you know the molarity, you can always calculate normality. And if you know normality, you can always calculate molarity. So it is asking to find out the normality of C18 solution. So how can this be calculated? To find out the normality of C18 solution, you see, in this case, we will be using the normality equation. How do we use the normality equation? You will find that we will be using, for question number 1, we will be using, that is N1 V1 is equal to N2 V2. Okay. Now, if this is for HCl, N1 and let this be for sodium carbonate. Let this be for sodium carbonate solution. Obviously, the N1 V1 is going to be for the HCl solution. Okay. Now, N1, normality of HCl is already given. Even if we are supposed to use the molarity equation for HCl, normality and molarity will be the same. So in this case, if I'm using this normality equation, this is 1 by 10. For HCl, it is 1 by 10. All right. And the titer reading for HCl we will take is, let us say, in the table, I don't know if it is given in this table. All right. We will take it as 25.4. If this is the volume of the HCl that we had used, let this be the titer reading. All right. This is equal to N2 we have to calculate. N2 is unknown, and volume of sodium carbonate solution will be 25 ml, because this is what we have taken from the pipette with the help of pipette. Okay. From this, when you calculate N2, the value you get is 25.4 divided by, it will be 25 into 10, that will be 250, and the answer turns out to be 0.1016 normal. Okay. Now, what do we have to find out in the question number 2? In question 2, you have to find out the molecular mass of hydrated washing soda crystals deduced from the experimental data. Again, directly you cannot calculate, because there occurs an X in the formula. So to find out the molecular mass of hydrated washing soda crystal, what we will do is, we will first find out if you look at the equivalent mass of sodium carbonate, then that is equal to strength by the normality. And the molecular mass experimentally that we have to calculate, that will equal to equivalent mass into 2 for sodium carbonate. In this question here, what we need to do is, for second question, we will begin with equivalent mass. That is, we have to find the equivalent molecular mass of sodium carbonate. So if I look at this equivalent mass of sodium carbonate, Na2CO3 dot XH2O is equal to strength given, okay, divided by the normality. So if I substitute the value, I will get the equivalent mass of sodium carbonate. This is equal to 7.1 divided by 0.1016, which is equal to 69.88. Therefore, the molecular mass will equal to of sodium carbonate will equal to equivalent mass into that factor n, that is into 2. So this is equal to 139, that is 69.88 into that is equal to 139.76. Now this is the molecular mass that we have calculated. In this experiment, we are doing the calculations in a little different way than we did in the first one. Now you have to find out the value of X. For the question number 3, you have to find out the value of X that occurs in the formula, that is here. To find that, we must know that the molecular mass of Na2CO3 dot XH2O is written as molecular mass for sodium carbonate is 106. If you add up, it will come to that, plus in this case for water it is 18, so I will write X into 18 and this should equal to 139.76. From this of X, that is from this, the value of X equals to, from this if I calculate, it turns out to be 1.875, which is equal to 2. So the value of X is turning out to be equal to 2, which means that there are 2 molecules of water of crystallization in the formula of the compound sodium carbonate. The fourth question was to find the concentration of the carbonate ion in C18. So that can be calculated like we did the calculations in the first experiment. And if we can do that very quickly, question number 4 will equal to 144. For question number 4, we can write that the concentration of carbonate ions will equal to concentration of carbonate ions will be calculated as 144 grams of sodium carbonate. From where did I get 144 grams of sodium carbonate? When you add up the molecular mass of sodium carbonate dot 2H2O, it will come to that. Okay, and this contains 60 grams of carbonate ions. This contains 60 grams of carbonate ions per liter. Therefore, 7.1 grams of sodium carbonate dot 2H2O will contain how much? Will have 60 by 144 into 7.1 carbonate ions per liter. This will be in grams because you see 60 is grams, 7.1 is grams, 144 is grams. So ultimately your answer will come in terms of 2.958 grams per liter. So this was your experiment number 3, in which the numerical value of X, that is the number of molecules of water of crystallization, were to be calculated. Now we will go to the next one. In the next one, you will find that in the next question, I must say, you will find in the next experiment, you will find that it is given to calculate the percentage purity of the sample. So let's go to that. This is experiment number 4. Again, in this case, we are going to use a different acid, that is dilute H2SO4, and we are going to use impure sodium carbonate. This is where I need to draw your attention. It is impure sodium carbonate. To find out the percentage purity of the sample, the set of calculations in the first and second will almost be the same, but in the third and fourth question, there will be a difference. Procedure is same, rinse and fill the burette with C15. Again, C15 is the acid solution, that is dilute H2SO4. Wash and rinse the pipette with C16 solution, that is the sodium carbonate, which is impure. See, weight of the sodium carbonate is given, that is 10.550 grams per liter. But remember that this is an impure sample. So the actual amount of sodium carbonate present is less. And it is that we have to find out. So if we go to that one, if we go to the calculations, to the questions first, you will see that again the process of titration is mentioned here, and in the chemical equation you find both of them are 1 mole each, and the questions are: calculate the molarity of dilute H2SO4, calculate the molarity of sodium carbonate, impure sodium carbonate solution, you have to remember, strength of sodium carbonate solution, this also we have done. The important question that we have to do here is the percentage purity of sodium carbonate in the sample used to prepare the solution, and of course strength of carbonate ions in grams per liter. So out of these 4 questions, you know already how to calculate. We will be basically talking about the 4th question. But anyway, after titration, the readings that we got in this case, the concordant readings were 24.8, and it is this reading that we will use in our calculations. So let's go to the calculations now. The first question that we have to answer in experiment number 4, which is mentioned here, is, let us say, we have to find out the molarity of. So if I go with the calculations again, first question, molarity of sodium, molarity of H2SO4, molarity of H2SO4 solution, that is C15 we have to do, C15, that is dilute H2SO4 solution. For this, it is equal to the strength, or you can write the given weight in grams by the molecular mass expressed in grams. So molecular mass, you substitute the values, you will get 9.50 is the strength given, I think, and 9.50 divided by molecular mass of sulfuric acid, you know, is 98, and in this case the answer will come to 0.09693 molar solution. So the molarity is this much. Coming to question number 2, we have to find out the molarity of sodium carbonate solution. Molarity of sodium carbonate solution, that is C16. That is sodium carbonate solution. For this, again, we will be using the molarity equation. That is, I can write M1 V1 by N1. That is, this is for H2SO4. Okay. And this is equal to M2 V2 by N2. This is for sodium carbonate solution. Sodium carbonate solution. Okay. We cannot find the molarity directly because it is an impure sample. In the previous experiment, we couldn't find directly because there was an X. In this case, there is no X. But the amount of salt that we are taking is impure sample. Hence, exactly how much is present that we have to calculate first. So if I use this molarity equation at the end point for sulfuric acid and for sodium carbonate, then let us substitute. You see N1 and N2, according to the chemical equation, they will be 1 each. So basically, if I start substituting, for molarity of sulfuric acid is how much? The molarity for sulfuric acid we have just calculated, that is C15, is 0.09693. Okay, and the volume of sulfuric acid according to let us say the titer reading in this case was, let us say, 24.8. Children, usually the titer reading will not vary much from 25 ml. All right, and this is equal to, in this case, if I am doing for sodium carbonate, then we have to find out the molarity of sodium carbonate, and the volume of sodium carbonate will be 25 ml. Because again, this is what we are pipetting out as per the instructions. So M2 in this case, that is molarity of sodium carbonate, when you substitute, you will get it equal to 0.09615. You see, molar. You see, in this case, if you look at the molarity, there is not much difference. All right, this is 615 and this is 6. The last 3 digits you tally. Now, you have to find out the third question. You have to find out the strength of sodium carbonate solution. So how will you find out the strength? The strength of sodium carbonate solution can be calculated by using the formula molarity into molecular mass. So the molarity in the case of sodium carbonate, if we are using this, it is 0.09615 into, then we are going to multiply by the molecular mass, that is 106, and the value will turn out to be 10.19 grams per liter. Now please remember this answer, that is the actual strength of sodium carbonate in grams per liter is 10.19 grams per liter. But in the question, the amount of sodium carbonate that was given was 10.55 grams. If you look into the question again, you will see that it is given 10.550 grams. So we are now ready to find out the percentage purity of the sample. How will we go with the fourth question, where we have to find out the percentage purity? For fourth question, we will apply the formula percentage purity of the sample of sodium carbonate will equal to of sodium carbonate can be calculated by using the formula, the experimental value divided by the theoretical value. That is the experimental value divided by the theoretical value into 100. Now what is the experimental value? The experimental value that we got of the pure sodium carbonate solution or the salt is equal to, pure substance that we got was equal to 10.19, and for the impure sample, that is the theoretical value that is given in the question. This is the theoretical value that is given in the question, that comes to 10.55, and when I multiply this by 100, the percentage purity that is obtained is 96.58 percentage purity. That means the impure sample that has been provided to us is actually containing 96.58 percentage purity. Now this is about what we need to find out the percentage purity of sodium carbonate, and we have calculated that by using the titration process. The fifth one was to find the strength of carbonate ions in C16 grams per liter. Again, you can apply the unitary method and you can find out that 106 grams of sodium carbonate is containing how many? Is containing 60 grams per liter. So 10.19 will contain how much? 10.19 grams of sodium carbonate will have how much? So when you do the calculations of 60 divided by 106 into 10.19, you will get this value to be equal to 5.77 grams per liter. So whether it is standard 11 questions or standard 12 questions, the questions on titrations are either of these three, either to find the strength of the unknown solution, or to find the percentage purity, or to find the value of X. But for standard 12, the questions that are there, or the titrations that are there, are oxidation reduction titrations. And in the oxidation reduction titrations, you will see in the syllabus, it was given to calculate for the KMnO4, potassium permanganate versus oxalic acid, or potassium permanganate versus more salt is given. And let us go to that now, just to see what is given in there, so that it's easier for you to understand. This is a sample paper of the chemistry practicals, and you see in this case it is given, two solutions are given, that C10 is a solution of 3.2 grams of potassium manganate solution, and C11 is a solution prepared by dissolving 6.85 grams of impure sample of oxalic acid. Now in these questions also again, you will find that it is given, the procedure is given for standard 12, the procedure is given, you have to fill the burette with potassium manganate, and then you have to take the oxalic acid solution in a clean conical flask. To that you will add sulfuric acid. Why should sulfuric acid be added? Because the solution has to be acidic. Oxalic acid is a weak acid. It will not give enough of acidic medium. Hence, sulfuric acid has to be added. No other acid should be used because KMNO4 is an oxidizing agent. It tends to oxidize HCl. Nitric acid itself is a strong oxidizing agent. Therefore, sulfuric acid is best suited. And the temperature has to be maintained between 60 to 70 degrees so that the change in that observed endpoint is sharp. All right. So these are the little minor things that we need to keep in mind when we are doing these calculations, and you will see in this the questions are same. Molarity of potassium manganate, molarity of oxalic acid, strength of oxalic acid, percentage purity of the sample of oxalic acid. Again, you have to go up to the 4 decimal places. Now this was the theoretical part, children. An upcoming video will be there for you to see how practically we are going to demonstrate to obtain the readings for titration. So wait for that video, and I think for this much is enough, the theory part for this theory part of the titration processes. This is what you have to understand. Anytime you have any problem, please feel free to contact and ask for any doubts, doubt clearance, or if there is anything that you have not understood, please, you can call up, you can WhatsApp either to me or to Sir Thakur or whomever you wish to ask, and clear your doubts for the practicals. So I think that's the end of it, and please wait for the next video to come up. Okay, children, thank you so much.